I don't think that Putin is a rational actor.
Let's do a thought experiment. Let's imagine that Russia entered into a hostile military alliance with, let's say, Panama. And for decades, it began enlisting other countries in Latin America to join its alliance, working its way all the way up to Mexico. And in spite of the United States calling for diplomatic negotiations with Russia for years, in spite of the United States publicly stating its security concerns and that its territorial sovereignty was threatened by the encroachment of this military alliance, in spite of the U.S. stating that Mexico was a red line and would not be tolerated if it were to join a hostile military alliance with Russia, in spite of all of this, Russia categorically rejects every call for negotiation and instead increases its influence in the region. Over the decade, it begins training 100,000 Mexican troops, which essentially bakes the Mexican military into the Russian military chain of command. It starts conducting military intelligence operations within the region. Russia gives billions of dollars in military aid to Mexico every year, and in 2014, the KGB actually coups the government, which was sympathetic to the United States, and installs a pro-Russian government so it can continue what it's doing. Russia even goes so far as to install first-strike nuclear weapons along the US border, capable of obliterating Washington within minutes, and also immobilizing the US capabilities to retaliate. In spite of more calls for diplomatic negotiation, the Kremlin releases a policy statement as late as September 1st, 2022, in which it calls Mexico an enhanced opportunities partner and states that it will continue its military relationship with Mexico, despite the United States once again calling for a diplomatic settlement and negotiations with Russia in December of that same year. So in this current geopolitical situation that I just outlined, if Biden decided to invade Mexico, would this person here be calling Biden an irrational actor? The analogy that I just gave and all the examples that I listed are completely accurate to the present situation, only the roles are reversed. It is America doing these things to Russia. Putin is a criminal, and his invasion is illegal and a war crime, but to say or to paint Putin as a psychopath and an irrational actor is entirely misguided and negligent to geopolitics, to the understanding of power dynamics in world affairs. And it shows an ignorance to history, to the context, and this is typical of American liberals living in the imperial core. None of them ever factor in the effects of US imperialism throughout the world. None of them call attention to what America has done and is doing as the only global hegemon with unbridled and unparalleled power in world history. Unfortunately, the entire issue is a lot more complex than just Putin bad.